showtime. Woo, woo. Woo, 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 woo. Silent and profiling. It's live and in color. Woo!
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report on the Buffalo Fan Base Network. I'm your host, Tommy, to the highest degree, to the TOP from the 313. And by my side is my main man, my toucan Sam, the one they call the Apex Man, Mr. Mikey. What's going on, brother?
Not much, brother. How you doing?
Happy
holiday.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, first thing first. Happy Memorial Day. This is I hope everybody enjoyed it. Especially our troops. This is for you. Obviously, this day is for you. And then one really quick side note. I hate to keep doing this, and it sucks that me and Mikey have to bring this up on our show again. But our hearts are, our prayers, condolences to the families in Texas, the parents that lost their children a week ago to another senseless act of violence. And I'm just, man, Mikey, that's tough, man. My heart really goes out to the parents. That's devastating, man. But hey, that's something for the government to handle, and hopefully this is a wake up call. I hope, I really do, Mikey. You have anything to say?
Just gotta figure something out. I'm not the smartest guy. I don't know exactly what it is. I know there's a lot of people on both sides of the fence on how firearms are handled. Do you take away from the responsible ones because or will do the irresponsible ones still find a way to get them? I don't know. There's much smarter people than me will figure all that out.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we have to find a way to protect our kids.
Yeah, protect our kids, protect us, protect everybody from these crazy individuals.
Yeah.
But Mikey, real quick on you.
Yes.
By the way, you were on vacation.
I was. It was
How'd
nice.
That go? Okay.
It was nice. I had 4 days. I took off Friday from work. As you know, I've been doing a ton of training at my job globally. So my hours have been crazy. So I finally had a break. Took 4 days, just chilled. I disconnected from the internet, had no phone, no nothing.
Best
just,
do.
so some family time. It was nice. It was so fun. I got back, today, so as soon as I got back, started texting you, said, okay, what are we doing for the show tonight? Started doing some research and getting ready to go.
And here we are for Bill's Mafia. And by the way, real quick shout out, because I like to get these done early onto the Buffalo Fan Base Network. Once again, you guys, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to Buffalo Fan Base on YouTube. Also subscribe to my page, Mafia Sports Report, as well. And shout out to Jake, who made that awesome kick-ass thumbnail. If you guys haven't seen it yet, obviously I put it on Twitter and it's on the YouTube, so check that out. And Daniel, what's going on, brother? I appreciate you. Chewy, I appreciate you. So yeah, as the title said, Buffalo Bills Saga continues. Mikey, let's start with the 2021 recap. The Saga, I meant to say.
Okay.
Saga. The Saga. The Saga continues. So 2021 recap. I just want to kind of go through this real quick with you. We finished 12-5, so not a terrible record, not at all. Like 12-5. Like we're complaining when we were like 8-8. All right, like 7-9. Like 12-5. Like that's pretty good. However, there were some key losses in there. We're gonna go through them real quick. It just kind of boiled down to how we got here, heading into the 2022 season. So, Mikey, how was your thoughts on the 2021 season in a whole? And then we'll get to some of these games that we played early on.
I felt we underachieved, but we were still good enough to make the tournament at the end. We dropped games to Pittsburgh early. We dropped games to Jacksonville. We had no business losing. And if we win either one of those games, we take the 1 seed, and we're playing at home rather than on the road. So I feel we underachieved in general on what expectations were, but we were still one of the top 4 seeds and ready to rock and roll once we hit the playoffs. We just, had some bad 13 seconds of luck.
We did. So going back to some of the games, by the way. So opening up the very first game, it was a loss, an L right away, right? So expectations were pretty high for most of Bills Mafia, right? For you too, right, going into the 2021 season. Like, I expected the team to come out better than they did in 2020, especially after what they did in 2020, right? 13-3, AFC Championship. We were just there, but we needed to do some stuff, right? So what did we go out and do, Mikey, in that offseason? We went ahead and geared up for another Chiefs run, right? Okay.
We really didn't do anything, though. That was the thing. We ran it back.
Correct. We ran it back, and it just wasn't. I thought we played them better, but there was still some stuff that was missing, right? Like, so once again, opening up 2021, we lose to Pittsburgh at home. Right there, it's like, whoa, that was a major. I don't know if that was awakening for me, but that was like, whoa, like I think really all of Bills Mafia kind of took like a step back and said, wait a minute, right? Like, I don't know how you felt, but I wasn't worried so much, Mikey, but in a way I was like, wait a minute, like, are we going to be this team this year? Like, are these high expectations still there? I was like, not worried, but I was like, wait a minute, maybe there is some holes still left on this team that need to be fixed. What were your thoughts about that very first?
My issue was Daboll at that time. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? If you go back and listen to me and you in that first week's recap, as we talk about it, like, our issue wasn't even like the roster in general. It was the game plan. We had no identity through the first few weeks of the season. We had no identity. He was trying to be too multiple in the run game. It wasn't working. He didn't have the right guys in there. It was just a mess on offense. Our defense held up as best they could.
They did. Yeah.
And then the stupid block punt because our kicker took too long.
He thought it was just like oh yeah, we had like the ultimate blocking for him. He was no worries. Just gonna take my time. I'll take the extra step. Yeah, he took a little bit. But that's Matt Hawk. Like, I'm not gonna even like. I get most people are like, God, but I don't. We didn't lose because of that. I mean, that didn't help. But like, to your point, 16 points on offense for a high-powered offense that was in 2020, like, unbelievable. And we come out now. Listen, Pittsburgh has a decent defense, no doubt. Like, you see, their TJ Watt was phenomenal this past season, but still at home, you got to score more than 16.
Well, if you go back and look at our week 1 line, who you had in there, that's before Darrell Williams kicked inside. So Darrell Williams came in out of shape. He wasn't ready to play outside. Week
Deion
1,
Dawkins
Deion Dawkins was coming back from COVID, and he was trying to play through it. It didn't work. I believe week 1, Cody Ford was in there. If I'm not mistaken, it was Cody Ford and Deion Dawkins, or Cody Ford and Darrell Williams on the right side.
Yeah, it was. Spencer Brown didn't come until I think
like week 4, right?
After.
Week 3 or week 4. So it was like the whole thing was just a mess.
It was.
We think we had Bacher at left guard. And he didn't play horribly.
No, it wasn't. Was it Bacher? I thought Feliciano was all right to start the season.
I think Feliciano started the year with COVID and didn't play the first few weeks. He came back and then he got benched right away.
I have to look at that, Mikey. I'm not 100%.
I can't remember, but our line was a mess. I remember that going in.
Yeah, no, it was. It was a mess. Daboll didn't have any. Once again, this is what drove me nuts about Daboll. Just no in-game adjustments. Just no, he just could never figure it out. Like, if things didn't go his way,
stupid quarterback draw up the middle over and over.
Yeah, that was his. Listen, that's gonna be Daboll's flaw because it never changed. I'm gonna be real with you. He got better in second half adjustments, but as far as like in game, like he had a game plan. He didn't really like change it if things weren't working out early on. He kind of just was like, I'm going to stick to it. And if it doesn't work, oh, well. And it's just like, it drove me insane, Mikey. And look, we lost that game 23-16, which a game we should have won. That's outrageous. Then okay, we get back on track, right? We play the Dolphins, we blow them out, right? So I'm like, okay, but it's the Dolphins,
but we
right?
still didn't play that well.
We didn't. But our defense was like, I'll tell you what came like for me at least. I was like, hey, our offense still wasn't. It's still like finding their way, but the defense, even after that Pittsburgh loss, did their job in the Pittsburgh game, I thought. And then, bam, you blank out the Dolphins, who, listen, they're not that good, but they're not that bad either. They're an upcoming team. They should have scored something, and we were playing it in Miami, and we blanked them. So I was like, okay, wait a minute, we got something growing here. The defense looks. Because remember, 2020 was the opposite. The defense was like, that was the thing, right? Finding their identity. They were kind of lost in the mix. The offense had to step up. So I kind of felt like, wait a minute, it's turning around here, and this is not what I wanted. I kind of wanted like both defense and offense to be on the same level, and they weren't early on, right? I mean, would you agree with that?
No, I do agree with that completely.
Yeah. Okay. Then we play the Commanders. And we win 43-21. Like, that was a good showing out for the offense. Kind of woke up a little bit there. Mind you, though, the defense put them in great field position in that game. So,
and that 21 is really not reflective of how the game went. They got a couple cheapy touchdowns at the end that gave them the 21.
Oh, for sure.
Our defense was dominant that game.
Especially the kickoff that they did. I believe it was them, right? The Commanders, they kicked that stupid kick that went short and we didn't feel right.
But then they also had the screen pass that went for like 70 yards.
Right. The running back.
Yeah. They're just like little things.
They did. But once we knuckled down, I think that was a wrap. Yeah. I knew they didn't have a chance. I didn't trust the quarter. But so far I would say the defense through the first, do
you remember
5 games were looking tight?
Yeah. Do you remember going into that game they were talking about how Hinkie was better than Allen? All the talking.
I didn't hear that, but I did.
Oh God,
hear,
they were.
yes. Yeah,
but I did. Duck Hodges was better than him a couple of years before.
Yeah, that. I'll be honest. I did not hear that. However, I was on a previous show as a guest, and they had a Washington content guy on there, so which was cool because we went back and forth and about the game coming up. And he was talking about Tyler Heineke, whatever his name is, Heineke. And I was saying, listen, man, because he wasn't beefing him up, but he was like, hey, we don't know about him, the Tampa game, and he's already started off, blah, blah, blah. And I said, listen.
Sure he remembers it. Sure he remembers it.
I said, listen, he's never played a defense like ours yet. I don't care who he's played in the last 3. Frazier is going to dial up like he does on all these rookie or guys that haven't had many snap counts in the NFL. And I was right. Like we made Heineke look pretty
it was
bad.
Early. Yeah, it was early in the season. Heineke had just took Tom Brady the year before to the fences, to the mat in that playoff game. So everyone was on the Heineke bandwagon. Thought he was going to be the next big thing. And the media's like, oh, and Josh Allen had 2 like so games to start the season. They're like, I would take Heineke over Allen. All the talking media had was talking about that. They're like, yeah, it was terrible.
So we play Houston, which is the next guy that was up that people were talking about because he was having a good rookie season to start.
Davis Mills,
right? And 40 to nothing.
He actually had a really good really good rookie season.
I would say honestly, and I'm not I don't care if Patriot fans are watching anyways, but I'll be real with you. I thought he played better than Mac Jones.
I put him on the Patriots. They probably have the same record, if not better.
Exactly. So people can debate me, and that's cool because I'm not I'm not paying attention to Mac Jones or this Davis Mills guys. But from what I saw, because we played them both, I thought Davis Mills is a little bit more athletic. He has a bigger arm, and he was on a sorrier team. Like he had way less weapons, in my opinion. And that says
something because Patriots don't have weapons. They have a good running game.
Yeah. I mean, they're okay. I think, Belichick gets the best of his players. I'll give him that. You know what I mean? Like he does what he can.
Oh, Mike White. Oh, God.
Yes, Mike
Yeah,
White.
Mike
He
White.
he might as well be Mark White.
Yeah, God, the Mike White saga.
Right,
Oh,
Mark
man.
White. Yeah, hey, listen, I don't blame you because who the hell is he now? Mark White, Mike White?
Somebody,
is he in
something White.
Right.
He's sitting on the bench. That's what he is now.
Who, by the way, said he should have been like a first-round pick. Like that's how high he was high on himself, Mike.
Yeah, after one game, he's like, I should have been a first round. Yeah, no. And then he got hurt in the next game, and then he got smoked by us, and they never saw the field again.
That was it, bro. And then we play the Chiefs. And this is when I said, okay, we win 38-20. Our defense looked, once again, solid, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, man, teams are going to have a tough time. If we continue to play like this on defense, and we just held the Chiefs to 20, man, now I felt like the defense has totally found themselves, from last season. Like after we beat the Chiefs, to me, nobody could talk like so far that season, right? Like the defense was legit because I heard a lot, and I know you remember too, heading into that game, who have we played, right? I kept hearing that. Who are the Bills played? Oh, so what? They blanked out the Texans. They blanked the Dolphins. They beat the Commanders. Who cares? Those are sorry teams. Mind you, though, a lot of these teams we beat later on in the season all played they turned it up. Yeah. The Dolphins weren't bad. The Commanders actually played okay ball they did. They weren't that terrible. Yeah. Texans, I think, went to the brink on some of these games that they played later on in the season. On some of these teams were close, right? So, whatever people want to say, in Pittsburgh made the playoffs. So, I'm just saying it wasn't that bad. And I hated debating people over that, but I'm like, okay, fair enough. Let's play the Chiefs. And we win 38-20. And we got the national. I remember we were the team there, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody, now we're the Super Bowl favorites. And what happened to the Chiefs? And the Chiefs are garbage now. And I kept hearing that. And the Chiefs aren't the same, right? I'm sure you heard
what's
all
wrong
that.
with Mahomes?
Right. It's Andy Reid lost his touch. Right? And I'm like, what? Slow
down.
Talk
about overreaction. over. Oh God,
yeah, dude. So I'm like, hey, but I was feeling. Listen, I won't lie, Mikey. I was feeling it. I felt really good.
I remember
because they were a thorn. Let's be real, and I wanted that win because it wasn't a statement game. Because it's like, man, even though it meant really not much, but. Mm-hmm. I kind of felt like for the teams, as far as them, right? Yeah. Like Josh Allen's going, okay, I know we can beat them. Like when we see them again, we've done it before. You know what I mean? And instead of like getting blown out in the regular season, seeing them again, you already got blown out like twice in a row, right? I thought it was a good win for the team, right? Like morale, like you just boost up their morale and make you go, okay, we can do this. We know we can. We can play with these guys in Kansas City. So I felt good after that. But then we play the Titans. Monday Night Football, you know how that went, right? 34-31.
Josh Allen slips.
We lose on a 4th and 1. The defense that was the first game, and I remember talking to you actually. We did a show right after, and I was saying I felt like the defense has been playing good, and you were against that. Remember, you said the defense was terrible, and
that game. Oh God, yes. And it wasn't even the whole defense. It was Levi Wallace was just getting used on that crossing pattern. He couldn't stay with AJ Brown, and they kept running it over and over and over. And he just it was the same play, and they just kept doing it. Mm-hmm. Oh God, it's so annoying.
I thought we started slow on offense though. And once again, like it's one of those games where we kind of like fluttered a little bit.
On them. We jumped out to a
no. We started a little slow, and then we started coming on board, and then it was kind of a back and forth, like kind of like it almost reminded me of the Chiefs game. If you kind of think back, like, very back and forth in that fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. We would score, they would score. We couldn't stop Henry at the end. And then the fourth quarter, it came down to, like you were saying, Levi Wallace and the rest, kind of the rest of the corners too. Like they were doing what they wanted. And why? Because we were biting on the play action, because Derrick Henry was eating us alive for the first 3 quarters, right? Or they were running him a lot. We'll put it that way, right? Like
it wasn't really
he didn't average. He had the one big play.
He had 2 big runs on us,
right? One big play for a touchdown. He had another big run,
which really should have been called back for holding.
It should have, but you know what? Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
Holdings happen. I'm not gonna listen. Like, it is what it is. He made the run. There was no call.
Yeah.
Either way, we lose that game, and I'm
Yep.
still. And we had a bye week, I believe, right
Yep.
after this. Correct. Okay.
Yep.
So at this point, what do we have? 2 losses at this point. I believe we're what do we
Yeah.
we the Chiefs are 1, 2, 3,
what 4-2 going
4
into the bye week.
4-2 going in the bye. I'm still feeling it. By the way, our schedule was relatively easy. I got to be honest with you. Besides those couple games, so coming out,
with you, Daniel. I don't like the Titans either.
Yeah, dude, and I'm glad we played them against because we lost 2 in a row. By the way, we owe this is a kind of a revenge game. How I see it. We got to get them back. So coming out the bye week, Mikey, 4-2. How are you feeling? Knowing we got the Dolphins coming up, knowing we got the Jags coming up, knowing we got the Jets coming up, and the Colts.
I was okay, and I feel the same way this year. If we go into our bye week, because I think what our bye this year
week 7
is week 7 again. If we can go in for 5-1, 4-2, I think we're going to be okay. Because we have a rough opening, and then in the middle is kind of lightens a little bit, and then we down the stretch could be rough. We don't know what the teams are going to be by then, but ultimately I feel the same way. If we can go in 5-1, 4-2, I think we're going to be all right.
Yeah, Scotty, what's going on, brother? I appreciate you coming in. Yeah, finally the Titans. We play them at home, and I'm waiting.
I know we played
Chiefs
3 straight years. We played 3 straight years in Tennessee.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on, NFL, finally. Yeah. Good Lord. They're going to have to do the Chiefs one, too, eventually. Yeah. It's a little ridiculous.
Well, we played them at home the first time we played them in 2020.
But it's 2 years in a row. Let's mix it. You got to play it fair a little bit. All right. So we play the Dolphins. This is a disappointing game for me. We win 26-11.
Come out of our bye and be that.
Coming out of bye. Yeah, sloppy. I remember watching the game, Mikey, just being mad the whole game, and
I know you were texting me.
I'm generally not mad, even if a game's. Listen, I know, I understand they're gonna blow every team out. I get that. You're not gonna look great every game, but it was just like I kept seeing the same Dable mistakes, the same offense sputtering again. We just blew them out the first time. We're at home. Now we're at home, right? And we're just playing sloppy football. The play calling's bad. The defense was good. We held them to 11. I mean, once again, but the offense was just and I get it. We scored 26, but the defense helped out a lot of that. Yeah. I got to be real with you. It wasn't like we were just dominating or no, man, this was bad. You remember that game, Mikey? Coming out of that game, what were you feeling like
we were not right? I remember texting back and forth with you, and we're like, we were hot at Dable. We're like, what is he doing? We didn't understand the game plan, what they were trying to, their identity. At the end of going into the bye, we seemed like we had found our identity. We were about a 70-30 pass offense. Got Josh out early, got him throwing, short passes, checking down, getting the offense moving. It was a lot of the little things like that. And then we came out this time, we're trying to run the ball up the middle, and we're trying to throw things deep. And we're like, what are they doing? And don't get me wrong, Miami has a good defense. Anyways, they have a really good defense.
They do.
And I just didn't understand the game plan, what they were trying to go for.
I honestly think Dable had no idea what to do with the run game, period. Okay, no. in my opinion,
and I don't think it's so much Dable. I think I put that.
No, it was Bobby Johnson. Yeah, no, it was both though. It's a unit, right? They work together. Yeah. So Bobby Johnson's offensive line, he has to create hey, we're going to be a zone running team, or whatever, gap run, whatever. He was kind of I think they were just trying to find their way, and I think they wanted to be a certain way on style and running back. Running style, and it didn't work. And then at that point, I think they were just almost trying anything, whatever, at that point. And that's why I remember talking to you going, what, forget the run. Just forget it. It's not going to work. I know it sucks.
Drop back the pass every time, and then just let Josh, take off if he finds the hole.
Clearly, right, because clearly Bacher was not very good. I'll be honest. I'm glad he's back, cool, but he's not a starter. He's not a starter.
He's a above average replacement player.
Right. That's it. And for a couple games, I can't have him the whole season. And I felt like that lays on Bobby Johnson once again because you had what's his name sitting right there.
Yeah, Bates.
You had Ryan Bates sitting right there the whole time.
Matter of fact, every time someone got hurt, they put him in for the first play and then they would yank him out.
So, anyway, so I'm like, okay, we squeezed out a win.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I'm going to go, in my head, I'm like, maybe it's just bye week rust, right?
Yep. We were trying to make an excuse for why it happened.
Right? I'm like, but we won, right? I'm like, okay, who cares? We won. Then we play the Jacks, and I remember not talking trash because I don't really talk trash.
Yeah, you were talking trash. Let's call it what it is.
I don't know about trash, but I was definitely saying we were going to win like 40-something. 42 to
I think you were in the 50s that week.
I might have been. Either way, we were going to blow them out. But that's not talking trash. That's what we should have done. I mean, Mikey, come on, let's be real. The Jaguars. We're talking about a coach who's terrible. He's not even there anymore, right? Like, you got to be kidding me. So
Urban Meyer, we gave him his first win.
I know, a first home win, right?
No, his first win.
They had beat the Dolphins in London, I thought.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was like it was their first home. Oh. Yeah. So
God,
9-6, and I remember at halftime. I think I didn't even go live at halftime. I think I did my own halftime. I'm like, I remember people on here were chatting with me, and I'm like, listen, it's bad, but we're gonna be all right. There's no way that we don't score a touchdown.
Like second half, it's gonna be like the Miami game. That's what you get telling me. It's gonna be like the Miami game. The second half, they're gonna figure it out.
We'll figure it out. And my God, we did.
Our O-line played one of the worst games I've ever seen in my life. Josh Allen had 0 times to throw the ball.
all we gave up was 9 points.
And we lost.
We lost. That's it. 9 points. And I'm like, oh my God. And I remember it was my busiest post-game show
Look at Scott. Scott said he wrote them all down. Tommy said 46-13. He used 46 5 times last season.
It should have been 46-13. Come on, guys. Let's be real. Anyone that says, we would have beat the Jags like 10-6 or something.
Daniel Garvey's coming in with a great one. Technically, it was a home win for them.
Well,
because they were the home team in London.
I know, but home game at their stadium.
Hey, it was a home game. It was considered a home game.
All right, whatever. Loss is a loss.
It was the first win in the States for
Jags. That was embarrassing. That was really embarrassing. Bro, Mikey, I went live. It was my busiest live. I had like 400 people live with me, and people were just dogging me. And I'm just like, hey, I deserve, like, it's cool. Throw it on me because us right now is Bills Mafia. We deserve all the heat, all the smoke. We deserve it because this is
if you're talk to trash. Gotta take it when they don't.
100%. I'll take it. Okay, so then we're gonna play the Jets, and I said, golly, we got to bounce back versus the Jets, right? Mm-hmm. And we do. 45-17. So after that win, are you feeling yourself now going against the Colts right after at home, or are you still a little nervous with this offense? You think we found our spot again?
I threw the Colts game out the window. I think I told you the during our preview show the next week when we recapped it. That Colts game was just a snowball. It reminded me so much of that Eagles game.
But I mean, I'm saying after that Jets game, so we win 45-17.
I thought we were still finding our way. I thought we were still just finding our way.
So you thought, even though we scored 45, going into the Colts game at home, were you comfortable going in that game?
No.
Or you thought
No, I wasn't comfortable. I thought we were still finding our way, and I figured, and I was concerned about our run defense at that time still. Yeah. Because a lot of teams had run on us, and even the Jets the week before had run on us pretty well with Michael Carter and stuff. So I'm like, Jonathan Taylor has a chance to really eat here, and what happened? They just ran
What sticks out to you on that game? Because I know it sticks out to me. And we've talked about this, the Colts game.
The Colts game?
Like
Isaiah McKenzie's fumble.
No. Well, that's
and it reminded me of that Eagles game. The Eagles game of
Yes.
of 2020, I think it was, or
2019, I believe it was.
2019, where they
At
just came
home.
in and they just ran on us. And it was rainy, and here, it's rainy and windy, and Daboll's throwing the ball 90% of the time.
Bro, they did the same.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, it was right. I'm like, what am I watching here? This is the Eagles game.
Yeah,
all
that's what it
over.
reminded me of.
Bro,
minus
Carson Wentz was the quarterback,
plays.
by the way.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz was the quarterback. They ran all over us. And what did we do on offense, Mikey? Do you remember?
Just kept trying to throw the ball. Yeah.
Right?
It wasn't even high, high percentages throws. We were trying to chuck the ball deep a bunch.
And when we finally used Singletary, like on some screen passes, remember we cut the game close in the beginning. Singletary had the touchdown run,
and then the McKenzie fumble just ended.
And then it was a wrap after that. Yeah. So we get smoked by the Colts 41-15. Then we play the Saints. We turn it around 31-6. But we kind of knew that, right? We kind of knew the Saints were hurting, a lot of injuries, right? We were going to a dome. I was like, thank God going to a dome.
Because we were playing we had the worst weather last year in Buffalo. Josh didn't play in one nice home game, I don't think.
No, that's why I was like, dude, I know those players, especially Josh Allen. When they knew the Saints was coming up, they were like,
thank God.
Dude,
give me a dome.
Especially after that Colts game. They were like, yo, we need this. That's a great way to think about it, because I didn't even think about it. That's a great way to bounce back on offense if you're trying to find a way again in a dome game. Get everything down in motion. The ball's not going to flutter on you. So we win, no problem there, which I knew we were, because they had who did they have? They had a backup, right? They had a terrible quarterback playing. I don't even remember who it was. He was so bad, bro. And it wasn't Winston. It wasn't the two. It wasn't the main two. It was like a backup. There was like a third stringer guy at start.
Yeah, and he wasn't horrible. I can't remember who it was though.
Yeah, but he
was an NFL backup for other teams.
Yeah. 6 points though.
Yeah, no,
not good. Then we go back home. So how are you feeling right now? We're going home. We're going to play Mac Jones. Another game where I talked a little trash. I did my little black and white video about Mac Jones coming to Buffalo, and I was right. I knew he wasn't going to do anything.
3 passes. The dude threw 3 freaking passes.
Right. But yet we lose 14-10.
I was okay. I was okay.
Yeah.
The season was starting to play out like the previous season, where we were starting to catch, glimpses of what this offense and this defense when they put it together, what it looked like. We don't want to be playing our best ball early. We want to be playing it late, and that's what we kept telling ourselves. Just get constantly get better throughout the year.
And I thought, besides the one run, right? They always had the one run.
Mm-hmm.
We held them to 14. I mean, once again, a game where all you had to do is score 16. We won. We couldn't do that. Score 10 points.
I mean,
because
for
Dable,
as bad as we played, and the wins as bad as they were, and the only thing we could do was throw the ball, and Josh was still throwing it around.
No,
he hit Diggs in the hands, and he dropped a touchdown.
Yeah, he was.
We still had a chance to win at the end.
Yeah,
if he throws the post to Beasley instead of the backside post to Davis,
Yep.
we win the game.
No, I know, but there should never. I don't think it should have came down to that. I felt like we.
Dude, it was a monsoon.
Listen, when I get it, but when we replayed the Patriots, which we'll get to, and we ran Devin Singletary. Right, I'm just saying, the Patriots were one of the worst run defenses in the league heading into that game. If you remember, right, they were towards the bottom.
Who, the Pats?
And we showed against the run.
Oh, against the run.
Yeah, they were one of the worst in the league against the run, and we did not run it in that game. And I kind of felt like when we played them again, we were like, you know what? Finally, Dable's like, hey, we're gonna run it now. We're gonna use Singletary. Hello, you couldn't, you didn't think about that.
I swear the light came on. McDermott left that first game, went into his office and just laid into him about not running the ball.
Had to have. I would have loved to be
fly on the wall,
camera, just to hear it, because I know. There's no. I'm telling you, Mikey. I know they said there's no tension or no, everybody got along. But I have a feeling that McDermott and Dable had a little tension. I'm telling you.
Oh, everyone does throughout the season.
No, but that's your I get it, but that's your coordinator. I think McDermott and Dable weren't, especially in 2021.
Their philosophies
started.
Mix.
It started to I think they were playing tug of war on what they wanted to do more in 2021. I felt like 2020 everything worked out because the passing was just on fire, right? So McDermott was like, okay, fine. They're running, working, whatever. This is working great. But I kind of felt like going into 2021, McDermott's like, hey, we got away with it last season. Let's see what we could do this season. And I kind of felt like Dable still couldn't figure it out. And that's when McDermott and him were like playing this tug of war with what they wanted on the field. So here's an important game. And this is where things turn around. And me and you know this very well, this game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa. We lose 33-27. We're getting smoked at halftime. And remember me and you texting back each other? And you're like, it's over. We suck. The season's done.
I did not say that.
And Mikey was like, I hate the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen needs to be traded. Sean McDermott needs to be fired.
Stop it. That was not at all what I
said. We need Rex Ryan back immediately.
Oh, God.
Where's JP Lossman when you need him? I mean, like all these texts from no, just joking, guys. But he was definitely mad, and I was too.
I was hot.
I was hot too. But I was like, you know what? I'm like, listen, like you never know. Like I'm that kind of guy. And then the second half, I kind of felt like that's when things were like. I almost felt like at halftime, maybe I don't know what was said, but. I'm almost thinking McDermott was like, you know what, guys, what do we got to lose here? We're down like whatever we were down, a lot. And I think he's like, go play ball. Just go play ball. Do what you do. Don't hold back. Like, and I kind of feel like he told Dable too. Because
I think he took the leashes off of Josh because that's when Josh started taking off running.
It was like everything. I think
like the whole offense changed after that game.
Yes. Yeah. It was just like a go out and do what you do kind of game. Like, what do you got to lose at this point? Like, just go out. Like, are you going to go down with your head down or are you going to go down fighting? And even though we lost that game, I was so proud, bro. I really was.
Yeah.
I went on afterwards. I was like, yo, if there's any kind of turnaround, and I know, and of course, a lot of Bills Mafia was like, oh, screw that, F that. A loss is a loss, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, listen, not really. It's not a loss. It's not a loss. That's a good team. And I felt like a lot was shown in that second half that we could move forward and use.
We used that as a learning experience. That first half we learned from it and we adapted and we changed our offense. And then we used after we changed that offense, that was the offense we used the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah, because now look, guys. So we play the Panthers, we scored 31. Not the prettiest game. I kind of felt like that game was too. We were still kind of tinkering with things on offense, but we won 31-14. I was totally cool with that. Then we play the Patriots. This is where I said, okay, Dable's finally getting his thing together. We go there, we smoke them, 33-21. I mean, that was a very good game, altogether. The Falcons, we play the Falcons. I thought we could have played them better, but a win's a win, right? Like the Matt Ryan thing was kind of fluky. He just barely missed, and he got a taunting penalty. And then it cost them the game pretty much. Then we play the Jets, right? We obviously win at home, very last game. Then the playoffs, Mikey. All right? Playing the Patriots again, third time this year. 47-17. It was a perfect game, I believe, right? By Josh Allen.
Only perfect game in the NFL history.
Perfect game, and I'm feeling it, man. I was so, at that point, Mikey, for me, I know we're playing the Chiefs next. I was just thinking, man, and maybe I was thinking too far ahead because I was thinking I remember the Cincy won, and I was saying, man, we could play Cincy at home. Like all we got to do is win. Yep. And we already beat them once, right? We know how to win. Like we beat them already, and not only did we beat them, we held them to 20, right? With their guys, they had all their guys, so it wasn't like they were missing guys. They had Hill, all that.
The only one they were missing was Jones. In the defensive line.
Okay.
And that was a big miss.
And I know they added some pieces too during
they added Ingram.
They added Ingram, but I still wasn't worried. Like I still wasn't, but that's defense. Like I'm talking about their offense holding to 20. I still wasn't I said, you know what? I think we got this. Like, you know,
See,
our
they
defense
added and we lost. So we lost Trey White, and Trey White had a big game in the first game
Yes,
against
so
them.
that's the thing, Mikey, that I honestly should have like thought about, and I didn't. And I knew Trey White was gone, obviously.
Mhm.
But I overestimated like the Chiefs and what they could do against our corners. I did. Because I felt like our corners did the job up to that point.
Our pass rushers didn't get to him like we did in week one.
They didn't, and then our corners, because of that, they suffered. They had to, right? When you got Patrick Mahomes back there with all the time in the world.
Well, Mahomes ran for almost 100 yards that game.
Oh, dude, and he was running on. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we're playing.
They were taking too wide.
We were also for that game too. I felt like we weren't physical like we were the first game, and that has a lot to do with Trey. You know, you could do that when you got a top 5 corner in the league, right? You could play
I think we didn't have the nasty on the D line last year. Like this year, we brought back Jordan Phillips, who's nasty.
Oh, we're going to talk about
Lawson, who's nasty. I know we'll get there. I'm just saying that we were missing that nasty at the end.
No, I know. Well, not only
that. Oh God, yes, Chewy, all day long. Levi Wallace. It's always his fault.
Offense too, and I brung it up a million times. We went in the half 14-14. I think I felt like we should have been up at least.
We should have,
10 points. At least, like we should have been up.
Honey Badger left after like the
first
series.
Play, the first series. Yeah, the first series. He got a concussion.
It was like the third play or something like that.
Yeah. I think it was somebody kneed him in the head. And you know, I don't wish injury on anyone, but he went out. He was done. The coaching staff knew this, right?
And we didn't attack.
Yeah, once again, this falls on Dable. Like it's like, Dable, wake up! What are you doing? Like, and then you're doing like runs up the mid once again, like
second and 1, run wide. Third and 1, run wide.
Yeah, things that don't.
I think one time they tried to do a jet sweep on it and it just didn't work. I didn't understand. It was the same bull crap he was doing early in the year.
I almost felt like he tensed up, and that it was like one of those games where it's just like playing it safe, right? Like you don't want to throw the ball deep, you don't want to turn the ball over to Kansas City. It's like, dude, let Allen be Allen. It's gonna happen. That's okay. I'll deal with it. We could deal with it, right? You know. And I just felt like he went to that too late, and we were playing catch up, and by that time, it was just too. I kind of felt like it was just back and forth. Like we should have been up, and Chiefs should have been playing catch up. Anyways, season's over. We all know how that felt. I'm not gonna go over that game a million times. We lost. Right? It is what it is. Okay, Mikey. So, Brandon Beane comes out press conference at end of the season. What does he say, Mikey? He says, "Listen, Bills Mafia. I wouldn't expect much. We don't have much to work with." I'm not lying here, guys. He said this. Go back and listen to that presser.
High profile. No high profile.
And he said, "No hope. Don't, we're everyone knows we're low in the cap. Nothing, I think he said big splash. Not going to be like big splash, just so." And I was thinking, damn, he's right. It's probably going to be a couple, guys we did like a 2020, some guys here and there to fill in, which it is what it is. We'll work with the draft. And then we signed a couple guys. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. We got Saffold. Yeah, I was happy. I was like, oh, I'm cool with that. Tim Settle. I'm like, okay. All right. Mm-hmm. And then I think Daquan Jones came next, right? And I'm like, okay, cool.
Daquan
but then as things are going on, the AFC is starting to bang
to load up.
They're starting to load up. Starting to bang on the door a little bit, right? Because we were just thinking of the prime teams, right? That we need to worry about. The Chiefs, the Colts, probably.
Not at that time because we didn't have a quarterback.
You're right. So I wasn't even.
We weren't thinking about them. We were thinking the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Bengals.
Right, Bengals again.
The Ravens are going to be healthy next year.
Ravens they're always tough. Yeah. So a lot of teams basically were hunting AFC basically were making noise. And I remember reaching out to you and going, Mikey, we need a player and we need an edge rusher and we need one now because
especially once Khalil Mack became a Charger.
Yes.
When that happened, we're like, Yeah,
and then
now you got Bosa and Mack.
Yeah,
and they
and
signed
then
J.C. Jackson in the offseason and to go with Sante Samuel Jr. and Darwin
Correct.
James back there. Like,
Correct.
oh,
And then what did it for me was the Chandler Jones, because there was a lot
Yeah.
of rumor that that we were in the
Jones,
mix. Which, by
yeah.
the way, we were in the mix
Yeah.
on that. We were in play. And then Jones got signed to where did he go, Mikey? He went to
L.A. Or
LA.
not L.A. Vegas. He went to Vegas.
Right. So I said, it's not good. And I remember reaching out to you and saying, we need an edge. Like, I wasn't really worried, but now I'm getting a little worried.
We were talking about what edge could we trade for, and we were talking about Danielle Hunter.
Thinking. Yes,
like
Hunter for the Vikings, which I would have been cool with too. I would have been cool. He's a hell of a player.
What kind of packages do we put together? Do we put another like Stephon Diggs type package together?
Yeah,
and go get
that was a good trade. We can't afford one. I was thinking, I didn't even know how we were going to get Jones. When Jones got signed, my first thought was, oh, I see why we can't afford him.
We can't get to $16 million a year. We can't get to that. Like, we don't have the money for that.
I'm like, oh, okay, I understand, right? So, I fell asleep. I took a nap. I woke up and my alert was all over my phone. Von Miller, Buffalo Bills. I was like,
alert, Mike's text, like all kinds of stuff.
I said, man, I need to take naps more often. So, and then we just started. And then I said, well, that has to be it, right? Nope. Jordan Phillips comes. Shaq Lawson comes.
They released him right after we signed Von Miller, and he signed with us, and with like 2 days he was back in the building.
Yeah, and I remember Shaq Lawson was a talk in the playoffs before the playoffs. Remember? Mm-hmm. And I think, I was like, hey, I'm cool with Shaq Lawson coming on board, and we didn't do it. And I was like, oh, maybe that was just all talk, but it wasn't. I think they were talking, but I think they held off, and they're like, hey, well, let's see what happens in the offseason. We'll talk.
I don't think we could guarantee him a spot at that time because it
was too early. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it is what it is. But that was huge, that Von Miller signing, man. And then we just started, and then Crowder.
Yeah,
was a late,
sneaky. Also, when that Von Miller signing happened, everyone forgets OJ Howard signed 10 minutes later.
I know. Oh, it's right. I'm bad. I'm sorry, OJ Howard. Like, I'm missing a lot because we signed like I think 10 or 11 guys, like crazy amount of guys. And OJ Howard was a sneaky signing too, in my opinion. Now he's battled injury.
Yeah.
But
so is Crowder.
But if they can get right, which by the way. I think both players, especially Howard, he won't be like seeing the field like a lot of snap counts. And also, I will say this: Buffalo Bills has had guys with injury history come to Buffalo, and they play very well. Yeah. Like, they limited injuries because we have a very good staff.
We have one of the best facilities too.
Yeah,
we have award-winning medical staff and strength and conditioning staff. And we have all the facilities they could possibly need. Like, you don't have to go outside our building for anything.
Chewy coming in. Was Von Miller signing the biggest surprise in the NFL offseason so far? I'm going to say it was, because we weren't supposed to sign anybody big. That's just my opinion. Now, of course,
I would say it'd be toss up between that and Khalil Mack getting traded to the Chargers.
That was a big deal too.
Yeah.
Russell
Wilson getting moved.
Tyreek Hill was a big deal. I didn't see that happening.
I didn't see that happening. Like, Russell Wilson was expected to move. Wentz moving, Ryan moving. Like, all that was okay.
The Packers,
but it wasn't like landscaping change like it was when, now Tyreek Hill could be in that group of
he could.
The most surprising.
Yeah, Packers guy was interesting too, though. The receiver for the
Devontae
Packers.
Adams. Well, not really, because there was a lot of talk about that before.
I know. I didn't know they were going to move him, especially with Brett Favre.
He didn't want to.
Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. He didn't want to be there anyways. He didn't want to be tagged, and he said he didn't want to be tagged because he said he wanted to go play with his college quarterback, who was Derek Carr. Mm-hmm. So that didn't surprise me as much. Tyreek Hill caught me off guard. Von Miller caught me off guard, and Khalil Mack caught me off guard. Those were the three that were like the major ones for me. Everyone else, I was just like, I kind of expected them to move around. Where they landed was just, flip a coin.
Yep. Now we did lose some guys. We We lost Cole Beasley.
Yep.
We lost Darrell Williams.
Still unsigned.
Yep. Still unsigned. So hey, you never know. unless he has some kind of animosity. Who knows? I don't know how that works. Levi Wallace, right? When he got signed somewhere else to Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Harrison Phillips, and then our backup quarterback Trubisky, which we all knew. We all knew Trubisky would go.
Yep.
But if you look at the key departures, which I just mentioned, and the key additions, I know for a fact
we got better.
The additions way outweigh the departures.
Well, think about it. Think about the key departures. We lost Harrison Phillips. We brought in Jordan Phillips, Daquan Jones, and Tim Settle to replace him.
Right.
We lost Jerry Hughes.
I think two of those guys' contracts are the equal out to Harrison Phillips' contract. So it's like you got two for the price of one, and I feel like
Daquan was the most expensive. Daquan was the most expensive.
Yeah. But I mean, geez.
Yeah. But then
Phillips,
we lost Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison.
Hughes, that's right.
Yeah. We lost Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison, and we brought in Shaq and Von Miller.
Right.
To go with our young guys.
Better. Right. We got better with Von. Right. We got better there. No offense to Jerry Hughes. I love Jerry Hughes, by the way.
I think Shaq Lawson's a better version of Mario Addison. He's a younger version.
Well, listen, Mario Addison, I'll still give him respect because he still led our team in sacks when he was here.
Yeah.
Both seasons. But he knows he was getting up there in age. And he was not. Listen, he understood that going into this season even. He was like, hey. Yeah. Gregory Rousseau, I like that. You take my snap count. What he was starting, not Gregory Rousseau. I'm sorry. He was talking about it was Rousseau taking a snap count, and then AJ Epinesa, like the younger guys, and he was liking that because we didn't have that the year before, and he even admitted he was starting to get tired,
and that's fine,
out.
And that's fine.
Yeah,
but let's keep going down the list. We lost Cole Beasley. We brought in Jameson Crowder to replace him. We lost Trubisky. We brought in Case Keenum.
Yeah, which even I think that's even.
We lost Darrell Williams, and we brought in Roger Saffold.
Yeah,
as you start going down, the only one that we really didn't bring a veteran in was when we lost Levi Wallace. We used our first round pick and took Kaiir Elam,
which is still, I would say,
an upgrade.
Could happen. It still could happen. A veteran, by the way.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you every spot, I think our team got better with the moves we made in the offseason.
100%. 100%. And looking back at some of our free agent signings, some of them weren't all that. Like, I think 2020 was like, if you look back, that wasn't.
Darrell Williams was a really good signing. He was a former All-Pro who played bad, who got hurt and played bad with the Panthers, came over us and put together a Pro Bowl and got some All-Pro votes. At right tackle.
How good is the backup quarterback?
I think Keenum is just as good as Trubisky. Keenum has history with Diggs from their Minnesota days. He played fantastic in the couple starts. Like, he won't put up Josh Allen numbers, but he's good enough to get you some wins and stopgap like he did with Cleveland last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's been around, right?
Yeah.
So
he's the ideal backup quarterback.
Been around since 2012.
Yeah.
So I mean, he started for Minnesota, I believe, right? He had that that playoff run. I mean, he was pretty good in college. Overall, I mean, he's a backup, but he's better option than Matt Barkley right now. And if all we had left was Barkley, that's why I was concerned before we got Keenum. And he's only here 1 year. And listen, that's going to be like that. I think for the remainder of Josh Allen's career, it's going to be 1 year, 1 year, 2 year guy, maybe at the most.
You never know. It could be his boy, Darnold could be coming to back him up for a couple years.
Maybe to get like a Trubisky kind of thing, but either way, 1 year, 2 year, I don't see. There's no reason right now getting anything that's crazy. Signing $10 million. I don't want that. Like, if we can steal another Casey Keenum next year on a trade for a 6th round pick, I'll do it. Not a big deal. All right, go ahead, Mikey.
So, so ultimately, from a player standpoint, that was, we replaced all the guys that we lost, and I thought we upgraded in most positions. Now, Crowder to Beasley, I don't know if that's really an upgrade. Beasley was really good, and Beasley didn't leave Buffalo with like bad things. He requested to be released because he didn't want to play in New York due to the regulations. So we just said okay. and we let him go. So he didn't leave on bad terms by any means. I can see him come back. I do agree with some of the people in the chat, though. Losing Dayball, we got a real OC in Dorsey. Joe Shane is probably the biggest loss that we had all off season.
Well, I don't understand the question. Like, do we still win the division with Casey Keenum?
If Case Keenum,
if
Josh got hurt.
Okay, how many games though? What are we talking about?
Like say Josh got hurt week 1. Knock on wood.
Okay,
right. In case Keenum had to come in, so he had to come in for the rest of the year.
Do we win the division? I'm going to say
yes. No. I still think we do.
I say
Casey Keenum is good enough to win us the division. Do we win the Super Bowl with him? No. Are we good enough to win our division? Yes.
I'm going to say no on that, Mikey. I'll disagree on that. But are we bad? No. But remember, I think now with all the good teams in the AFC, right?
We would division, not the conference.
No, I get that. We would have to win the division. The Miami Dolphins, no matter what, they did get better. I got to give them that now.
So are you saying that Tua is a better quarterback than Case Keenum?
I'm saying Tua and their backup is a better quarterback than Case Keenum right now. But listen.
Are you drinking?
Not by much though. Tua, not by much. I will say this though. I don't know if Tua lasts long on the Dolphins team this year as a starter. With what's his name as backup. I'll be real with you. I have a feeling that I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart. What's the backup there? Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Teddy Bridgewater is going to wind up taking over at some point due to injury, maybe due to poor play. And I do think Teddy Bridgewater is better quarterback than Casey Keenum, in my opinion. And I think it would be very close. And this is not going to happen, guys, by the way. This is just us because we're answering a question. It would be close, Mikey. I gotta be honest because I see the Dolphins. I see the Dolphins. Listen. How many wins do you think the Dolphins will win this year? Just offhand.
9 or 10.
9 or 10. Okay. We would have to
remember they have a brand new offensive system.
Okay,
that they have to learn.
Get it. I understand, but Casey Keenum is brand new to the system as well. Brand new to the system, right?
Okay.
You got a brand new coordinator, right? Now we have a tough slate right out the box, right? We got the Rams, right? You got the Chiefs, right? I got to look at the rest schedule, but you got the Titans, right? There's a lot of tough games right there right away. You got the Dolphins. That's not a pushover team. We just talked about their Casey Keenum. How many games do you think he would win there out of the first 7? First 6 coming out of the bye week.
I think it'd be 4-2.
So you think we would go 4-2 with Allen and 4-2 with Casey?
No,
Keenum?
I think we're going to go 5-1 or 6-0 with Allen.
I think you're crazy. Casey Keenum ain't winning 4 games, bro. He is not beating the Chiefs, bro. He is not beating the Rams.
I
think you give Keenum way too much credit.
No, I think you're not giving him enough credit. Casey Keenum came in last year with the same team that Baker had and went 3-0 in his games, and then got benched again for Baker. Casey Keenum is not a bad quarterback.
Yeah,
and he will have all the weapons that Josh had.
He's not. He's a totally different quarterback than Josh Allen, bro. He's totally different, bro. And he would, and once again, he would have to understand the system, be on the same page.
You don't like any backup quarterback.
No, it's not true. What are you talking about? I was all for Mitch. I told you I was happy with Casey Keenum coming, but you're talking about a whole season with Casey Keenum.
Do I think we can win our division? Yes, team? I think our team is deep enough that if Josh went down, we could still win our division.
No way.
I don't
agree
to disagree. There's no way to factually win this argument. I just think you're
I don't
crazy.
Think so.
You're crazy. You have zero faith in the rest.
How
of
am I going to lose faith? Because I'm saying we're going to all of a sudden win.
So you think Casey? So you think if Casey Keenum played, our defense would just fall apart? Because our defense keeps us in most of the games.
I understand that.
So you think our offense doesn't do anything with Casey Keenum?
I didn't say they won't do anything. I just said we have a tough schedule. Which we do, by the way, guys. Okay. This isn't like an easy schedule.
And this is the same schedule that Miami has.
I get that. I understand that. But either way, Casey Keenum's a backup. Now, if you're talking about 6 games, 4 games, 5, somewhere around there, yes, I think Casey Keenum can handle his own. I think he can win. Let's say if it's 5 games, I think Casey Keenum can go 2-3. I do. 3-2, maybe
Okay.
something like that.
And I realize Casey Keenum took the Vikings to the NFC Championship game.
I get
right?
that. Back in listen, Mikey, he's not
what,
like
4
a young
years
buck.
ago?
In
4 years ago?
2017. In 2017, we're in 2022
Okay.
now.
5.
He's played
we
since
haven't
20.
played, so it's four seasons ago.
Okay, I get it. He's played since 2012, right? He's played on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now it's 19. There's a reason why he's played for 9 teams through his career. If he was this guy that you're saying
he's an MVP,
listen, I'm just saying I didn't
with
say
our
MVP.
team.
I get it, but if he's this, listen, 9 different teams. If this guy's an 11-win, hear me out, an 11-win quarterback that you're saying 12 wins. I don't know what you're saying. Let's say 12.
The team.
That's a guy that should
wins are not a quarterback stat.
Okay, but you're saying if he has a good enough team around him, then he can win 12 games, correct?
I'm saying yes, he could win 12 games if he had a good enough team around him.
Why didn't any of these teams trust to stick with him? If you could build a team around Casey Keenum to get you
because
to the
they
playoffs.
were able to get an upgrade.
Okay, so Minnesota got an upgrade. With Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
Right. Washington got an upgrade with.
No, Washington went another route. They brought in Alex Smith.
Denver Broncos in 2018. They got Drew Lock.
They went young.
Or Drew Lock, right?
Yep.
The Rams in 2014. I have no idea who the Rams got, and he played in Houston for 1 season. So every season that he's been on, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
He played for the Texans 2 seasons. He played for the Rams 1 season. He played for the Texans again 1 season. He played for the Rams in 1 season. Played for the Vikings 1 season. The Broncos 1 season. Redskins 1 season. The Browns 2 seasons, and with us. So he's lasted nowhere more than 2 seasons. Is he a quality backup in this league? Yes, 100%, Mikey. And I was screaming that to you when we signed Matt Spin the Towel Barkley. Like, I was like, we have to get
you. But the way you were talking about it, you're talking like Case Keenum is Matt Barkley.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about realistically a whole season. I would not have a total 100% complete faith for 100%.
We're not saying is it 100%.
Well, you're saying no doubt. There's no doubt we would win the AFC East.
No, I'm not saying that. I said I believe that we can still win. The question was, do you think he can win the AFC East? Do you think he could? Yes.
Okay. Is that so? I'm gonna say no, and I'm gonna say, but it would be close. And the reason why I say we could probably miss the playoffs is because let's just say hypothetically the Dolphins go 10 wins. And we win 10 wins, but they beat us on some kind of stupid tiebreaker. The AFC is so packed. I'm just saying.
You just went down the list of teams that Casey Keenum played for, but you didn't. And you said both Tua and Teddy Bridgewater are better. Teddy Bridgewater's been on. No, he's not. Why hasn't anybody kept him around?
Well, first of all,
he's been in multiple positions to be a starter.
He played very well in Minnesota until he got hurt. He had a freak injury, and you know that.
And
he played very well.
Really good.
He played very good in with New Orleans. He had a good season with New Orleans.
But they didn't keep him. And went
I
with
get
Jameis
that.
Instead.
And then
he went to Carolina, and he got kicked out of Carolina. He couldn't win the starting job in Carolina. Then he went to Denver and couldn't beat out Drew Lock.
Well, that I don't think that was the case. I think Drew Lock, they're just trying. I think they don't know what the hell they're doing.
But these are the same arguments that you had about Case Keenum.
I get it, but I just feel like Teddy Bridgewater's a better quarterback. How much better? I don't know. That's up for debate, I guess. How about that?
Okay.
So, anyways, enough of the
let's move on.
Talk before I lose my mind about.
So, anyways, where we were going before we answered the question was Joe Shane was our biggest loss.
Better hope you don't see Casey Keenum.
Listen, Joe Shane, our assistant GM, was our biggest loss this offseason.
Yeah, that was a big loss. That was. Now, I know we're trying to get an assistant GM. I'm not sure if he signed him yet.
I think it's going to be – I think we're going to promote with him because we have Brian
there's
Gain
a guy that we're – no, there's a guy we're talking to, Mikey. I forget his name.
We're not going to promote with him. That's odd.
No.
Because we have a lot of we have former GMs.
I'll tell you right now. but keep going because I'm going to tell you who the guy
Okay.
I'm talking about.
Okay, so outside of that, so I felt like from a player standpoint, what we lost, I felt we upgraded in most positions, and we're a better team today than we were at the end of last year. Then we wanted to switch over to the coaching, right, Tommy? That's what we're going to go down.
Yeah. I want you to go ahead. Yep.
Okay. So we lost Brian Dable, OG Bobby Johnson, his assistant D-line or O-line coach, I don't even know his name, all gone, right?
Brandon Hunt. Sorry to interrupt you. Pittsburgh Steelers, Brandon Hunt interviewing for Bills, assistant GM. So I'm just telling you, look him up when you have time, but that's the guy that he's already on our second interview.
Okay.
So go ahead.
And I imagine we have internal guys also. We have to do outside stuff as well.
Joey? Yep.
You know, ultimately, so we replaced Dayball with Ken Dorsey. Ken Dorsey was our former quarterback coach. He was also the quarterback coach with Carolina. Then we brought in the new quarterback coach, Joe Brady, who was the Panthers offensive coordinator, the LSU passing game offensive coordinator, and he started his career with the Saints, and he was an offensive assistant under Sean Payton. Then we brought in Aaron Cromer, who is our O-line and run game coordinator. And he was the Rams O-line coach, the Saints O-line coach, and the Bears offensive coordinator. And then he had a previous stint with the Bills as well. So we bring in, those two guys. And then our biggest, I think one of our biggest deals was we picked up Mike Shula, who is an offensive assistant, who was the Panthers offensive coordinator. He's been a quarterback coach a bunch around, but he is the mentor of Ken Dorsey back in Carolina.
Yep.
So we have surrounded our first time offensive coordinator with three previous offensive coordinators to help guide him into his new role.
Right.
Super excited. Cromer was probably the steal of the coaching hires here.
Oh yeah.
Because he comes in and he can teach any scheme. He'll get us on a certain type of run scheme, and everywhere he goes, so we didn't see offensive linemen in Buffalo grow, right?
Right.
Like any of our young guys really grow. We saw Bates get better, but I think that was more about Bates than it was about OG Bobby Johnson, because we didn't see Cody Ford, who has enormous talent, be able to get any better. Deion Dawkins has been solid, but he was solid previous to OG Bobby Johnson coming in. Spencer Brown's going to get better because you saw him last year. He played well, but he also struggled at times last year. You're going to see him get better. Like we brought in a legit top 3 O-line coach.
Oh yeah.
So looking from an offensive standpoint, we may have a lot of changes, but I think they're all going to be for the better.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, listen. So everyone knows I'm not a big Brian Dable fan.
Mm-hmm.
He still did well here. I'm not going to totally knock him for what he did here. I felt like he grew with the team. He got better as well. I think he learned a lot. He got better as each season went by. I think Josh Allen is a big part of that as well. He's
a head coach because of Josh Allen.
Yeah. He helped Josh Allen, no doubt. But was he like the true genius of Josh Allen's growth? No. Come
Josh
on,
Allen
man.
is the true genius of Josh Allen.
Right. It starts with Josh Allen, and then I think it works. There's steps below that things that helped him out.
There's a group
Jordan
of
Palmer.
Them.
Yeah, Jordan Palmer, Ken Dorsey,
Dayball. I
think
Bean
Ken
and
Dorsey
McDermott putting the resources and the plans around them. Jordan Palmer gives the credit to Dayball and Dorsey. He says, "Listen, he came to me with a plan that was outlined by Buffalo of what he needed to work on. We just broke it down." But really, that goes back into the office of McDermott and Dayball and Bean and all of them sitting around saying, "Okay, what does he need to work on next?" And a lot of it's Josh. Josh goes into it. There's nobody harder on Josh than himself.
Right, exactly. Seeing a specialist, working on stuff that he knows he needs to fix. That's something that he didn't need to do. He just went ahead and did it. But I still think altogether, I want to say, obviously we're both on the same page. It's really Josh Allen, the person that he is. wanting to get better, doing everything he can. But Ken Dorsey, coming in 2019, there's a reason why, at least in my opinion, why Josh Allen's completion percentage went up every single season. Why he started to become a better quarterback, as he's a smart guy, man. That's why he's a coordinator now. He didn't make it in the NFL, Ken Dorsey, but he's a genius, and everybody knows that, and that's why he was wanted. He just by a lot of teams.
He just didn't have that next level talent.
Yeah.
He's
that's
one
okay.
I believe, isn't he still the winningest college quarterback of all time?
I think for Miami though. Like I think there's another.
Is it just
guy
Miami?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
He had like 2 losses his whole career, but he was unbelievable in college. But if you look at those Hurricanes teams, they were stacked. I mean. But he was a smart guy. But anyways, my point is Dable leaving and Bobby Johnson, which Bobby Johnson was a total, not failure, but he just did not do good in Buffalo, in my opinion. And when you replace him with Cromer, who has the track record that he does, it's like no question about it that we're going to be better offensive line this season.
If you think about what Buffalo did this year, they went out and got Von Miller, who runs the pass rushing camps, right? Mm-hmm. Aaron Cromer runs O-line camps as well, like for the coaches. Like he teaches seminars on how to do proper technique and stuff like that all the time. So we brought in more teachers. Not just from a coaching standpoint. Shula has the background. Who his dad is, and he also has the background in the coaching. Joe Brady is a young guy who's had a success.
Who could be a future coordinator, by the way.
Who's gonna be
actually
a future
was
coordinator.
He was a coordinator, I believe, in Carolina for a little bit.
And I think a lot of the downfall in Carolina wasn't so much Joe Brady, but it was their head coach.
So what do you think about this question coming in? I'll answer real quick. I'll let you answer it. How long will it take for them, the new regime, to mesh? Really quick, because
I think so too.
Number one, the main guys, like I said, you're talking about first our coordinator, our OC. He's already been on the team since 2019. Ken Dorsey, that is. And he already has, like, him and Josh Allen, he was a quarterback coach. They see eye to eye. That's the whole reason why Ken Dorsey, that's one of the main reasons he's there. And then Ken Dorsey also worked underneath Mike Shula for a little bit in Carolina, when Carolina went to Super Bowl, by the way. So they have a good track history already. So it's not like they're going to be like button heads, like, oh, I don't understand, I want to do this, you want to do this. No, it's not going to be like that. They already have a history together. Cromer was here in 2017, I want to say, 2016. Yeah. So he's familiar with Buffalo. He understands, what it's going to take for Buffalo. He didn't work under McDermott, but he is a Buffalo guy through and through. He knows, and I'm not worried. He knows exactly what this team needs to do on offensive line. He'll get it right. So I'm not worried about any of this like coaching regime, like taking a while to mesh. I think everybody's on the same page. And a lot of these guys, matter of fact, are Carolina guys, which is obviously Sean McDermott, Brandon Beane. They're all familiar with each other. Mike, I'll let you answer that.
You hit it, the nail on the head, or the head on the nail, or whatever you say that. Ultimately, I think you landed it. Dorsey gets promoted up. It's his first time. So what did we do? We brought in guys to surround him. We brought in Shula, who was his former mentor. We brought in Joe Brady, who is a passing game coordinator, who has, that understands the concepts. You saw what he did when he had the talent at LSU, so then he went to Carolina, didn't have that talent. So now he comes here and he will, so he brings new ideas. And then you brought back Aaron Cromer, who's going to be our run game coordinator, who has been an offensive coordinator. So I have a feeling all three of these guys are going to step in to help him. Now, I don't think it's going to take much to mesh at all, because at the end of the day, Dorsey makes the call. And all three of them were in that seat, so they understand it.
Yep.
So
don't you be hanging out by Cromer's beach house, or he will toss your damn chair.
Yeah, he'll toss chairs at you. Okay, so let's flip sides of the ball. So on defense, we did have a couple some replacements. We brought in obviously Bob Babbitt Sr. retired. Bobby Babbitt Jr. Moves from safeties into linebackers. we promoted our nickel coach
doubt,
into our
buddy.
safety coach. But then we brought in two new. We brought in a defensive line assistant, Marcus West, who was a former Vikings D-line pass rushing specialist coach in 2019. And then he was a college DC last year for Charlotte. So he has some. And then we also brought in Kyle Schumer, Pat Schumer's son, who was a quarterback last year for the Commanders, who has retired and went into coaching. He's going to be a defensive assistant this year, but I have a feeling he's going to be a quarterback's coach down the line. I think he flips over to offense next year. We just had the defensive assistant opening this year, so he fills it there. Pat Schumer also has, ties to McDermott and Mike Shula and all those guys, so we picked up Kyle Schumer. And then on special teams, we promoted our assistant special teams coach into our full-time special teams coach as we lost our special teams coach to Jacksonville. And then we hired Corey Harkey, who was a former tight end. Rob Baronis, who's our tight end coach now, was his position coach. He played a ton of special teams when he was in the league. So he's now our assistant special teams coach. So ultimately, those are the new coaching hires.
Yeah.
The most of the change happened on offense, obviously.
Yeah. The big changes, at least.
The big changes. But we did have a few on defense. We brought in some younger guys that are going to be some up and comers to keep an eye on.
And by the way, guys, I should have played this when me and Mikey were like doing this like back and forth on the whole Casey Keenum is the best quarterback ever to play.
No, I did not
the
say
position.
That.
You better wrap it up.
Yeah, we went down a rabbit hole on that one, didn't we, bud?
And I do honestly, before we get to the next thing, guys, we're gonna do a trip down memory lane with the tight ends. I do want to play something that I totally forgot to play you, Mikey, 2 weeks in a row now, and I kept meaning to play it, guys. So I want to show you this real quick. Our former running back, only one season, did this about 3 weeks ago.
This fight, Frank Gore looked at the clock. He could get a finish. He just got it. Oh my God!
God!
Rel McKnight.
Whoa!
Frank Gore.
Who did he knock out there?
Did
they say Joe McKnight? Because that's like the former running back Joe McKnight?
No, it was just like a boxer guy he had. I don't know. It wasn't though. It was just a guy that they had in front of him who had like some boxing record. But boy, Frank Gore put that dude to sleep, guys. Like I'm like, whoa, like that's a good fight for a guy, like, because usually when you watch those fights, like an ex-football player, ex-baseball player, it's always sloppy. There's nobody getting hurt. There's like headgear on. Like Frank Gore knocked this dude out cold, man. He looked pretty good. I gotta give him credit. So I wanted to play it for you.
It's his second amateur fight. He fought Darren Williams and lost.
Yeah.
In his first one, and then he won this one.
Oh,
tomorrow
Tomorrow
is the match.
They both were talking trash.
Or no, Wednesday. Wednesday's the match.
Tom Brady, Wednesday, the first. Tom Brady with his look at this isn't football thing. He can't. What do he
hasn't been able to back
say?
it up on the field. He wasn't able to back it up on the field, especially against me.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, dude. It's not wrong with
you heard what Josh said, though, right? To start that,
I forgot what he said.
He's gonna have cue cards with scripted lines that someone's gonna write for him.
I love it, man. Hey, it's all for fun. It's cool,
it's
man.
All for charity. This is all for charity. It's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be fun. Josh said he may not be the best golfer, but he'll be the best crap talker. And I feel like him and Aaron Rodgers will be the two that shine the most.
Oh yeah.
Crap talk, crap.
And
talk.
I'm sure Josh Allen can hit that golf ball like a mile, bro. Right?
Like Aaron Rodgers is probably the best golfer out there. Would be my guess. My guess is Rodgers and Brady win the match.
Yeah, two veterans. They've been playing golf forever, old men.
But it'll be fun to listen to Josh just talk crap.
Oh God! All right, hey, man, can you believe we've been on this hour and 20? So we're gonna get to We're going to get into this real quick. Trip down memory lane. Let me cue it up for Mr. Mikey. Josh Allen was so
heartbroken.
It's so disappointing.
That's the only win Miami has against him.
He's like, what?
How did you drop that? Oh,
and bro, I couldn't play the whole thing because if I did, I get copyrighted. But that whole play, that whole sequence, if you guys remember, Josh Allen was like running for his life.
He didn't even plant when he threw it. Yeah,
he went back like 20 yards, like did this whole
he threw the biggest duck I've ever seen. But he didn't got there. He just chucked it as far as he could.
Well, he was, bro, Mikey. He had to have been tired. He was literally play seemed like it took forever. Like I remember he went in shotgun, I think, and the guy came after him. He spun around, then he went backwards. Like it was like forever.
Sugar High Josh.
Yeah, but he made a play that's all you can ask for, right?
It should have been the win. It should have won the game, and he dropped it. Yeah. He short-armed it. He T-Rex armed it. Oh god, yes.
All right, go ahead, Mikey.
Okay, let's go down. Let's go down. We'll start with year 2000. We had Jay Reemema and Bobby Collins. Remember 4th-round pick Bobby Collins?
Of course, I remember Jay. I can't pronounce the name.
Yeah.
Reemersma. I remember him.
He was a 7th-round pick. And in 2000, it was him and Bobby Collins. And then 2001, it was Reemsma and Sheldon Jackson.
Don't remember Jackson. Okay.
Then, he had one catch on the season. Then 2002, it was Reemsma and Dave Moore. 2003, it was Mark Campbell and Dave Moore.
I still don't remember. So I'll be honest.
I don't remember. Dave Moore had.
And I know my teams.
Okay.
I don't remember.
In 11 years, he played in 15 games and started 6.
Wow. And he was 11 years? Like he did
played,
something.
He played in the league for 11 years.
Maybe a special teams guy or something.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Then in 2004, it was Mark Campbell and Ryan Neufeld. Remember Neufeld?
I do.
2005 was the same two as Campbell and Neufeld. 2006, it was Kevin Everett and Robert Royal.
Kevin Everett from the Miami Hurricanes, correct?
Yep. Who in 2005 or in 2006, he showed a lot of promise. In 2007 is when he had his injury.
Yes, which I remember like it was yesterday. It was
he was
crazy.
So athletic. He was he was going to be the next big tight end out of the U.
Yeah. No, he was a hell of a player in the U.
Yeah.
He was a good tight end. It was just a freak injury, man.
Remember Robert Royal, tight end?
Of course.
Yep. And then in 2007, it was Michael Gaines and Robert Royal.
Okay. See, Gaines, I don't recall much. Okay. I know Royal though. I remember
Gaines actually led our team in catches that year from
wow. See, I don't remember.
He actually started over Royal that year.
Wow. Okay. I don't remember.
Then 2008, Robert Royal and Derek Showman.
Okay. I wonder what happened to the guy that just did a whole bunch of good catches. Why was
well, when I said he led his team catches, he had 20 catches on the year. We did not have good.
What year was this?
This was in 2007.
Man, that's terrible. All right.
He led all tight ends with 25 catches or something like that.
Trying to think.
Then 2008 was Royal and Showman. 2009 was Derek Fine and Sean Nelson. Remember Derek Fine?
I vaguely, bro.
They had under 30 catches, I think, combined that year.
This is terrible.
2010, it was David Martin and Scott Chandler.
I remember David Martin, and I remember Chandler. Okay.
And then in 2011, Martin had left, and we had signed David Nelson. It was David Nelson and Scott Chandler.
Okay.
And then it was Scott Chandler and TJ Graham in 2012.
TJ Graham, I thought he was a receiver.
That's what it showed him as a tight end. I don't know why.
That's weird. TJ
Because
Graham was a
he's
wide
a little
receiver.
tiny guy.
He is. We drafted him.
Then we only had one tight end that year in 2012, and it was Scott Chandler because they had him as his games played at tight end.
Yeah, Graham was definitely a receiver because I remember I was like, oh,
Was he a little tiny guy?
He was, yeah.
I thought maybe it was a different TJ Graham.
Unless it's another guy.
2012.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that was him, but I could be wrong. Go ahead.
Okay.
How
Anyway,
many TJs we have?
And then 2013 we had Scott Chandler and Lee Smith. 14 was Scott Chandler and Lee Smith. 15 it was Charles
Smith,
Clay and Nick O'Leary.
So this is where we got a little better because Charles Clay, for many of you guys, even though
Scott
we played
Chandler
them,
was a decent tight end.
Yeah, he was okay, but Charles Clay, even though he dropped that and it was like, and he wasn't that good towards the end of his career in Buffalo. He actually wasn't terrible for us. Like, I'm not saying he was like, oh my God, great. But out of all the guys we just named, like he's so far the best one. I got to be real with you guys. He had some decent numbers with us. I think he was with us 3 seasons, I want to say, Mikey. How long was he with us?
Who?
Clay.
Clay, 4 seasons.
3 or 4, right?
4 seasons.
Okay. So I think out of 3 of the 4, he had decent season. Like, he had decent amount of yards.
Yes.
They weren't like eye-popping.
So
they were pretty good.
15 and 16 and 17, it was Clay and O'Leary all 3 years.
Okay.
2018, it was Clay, Jason Kroom, and Logan Thomas making his conversion.
You know why I remember one of those guys? Can you remember why, Mikey?
Who? For Jason Kroom?
Kroom. Yeah.
Yeah,
why?
he dated Pagula.
And remember, he was so bad, he should have been off the team, and they re-signed him for 1
Yeah. Yeah. But that was in 2018 was the year that Logan Thomas started making his transition to tight end, and we just only held him that 1 year, and then we let him go. And he went on to Washington and ends up being, an all-pro tight end.
Daniel, you're right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. TJ Graham was a receiver. I don't know why that's on the list, but he is.
He played some snaps at tight end. He was like, That's how bad our tight end was. Like, they put him at
all right,
tight
TJ,
end.
we're going small, real small.
That's what I thought, but I'm like, okay, maybe there's a different TJ Graham.
Right,
but, anyways, 2019, it was Dawson Knox and Tyler Croft. 2020, Dawson Knox, Tyler Croft. 2021, Dawson Knox and Tommy Sweeney.
Tyler Croft, terrible signing.
Tyler Croft, yeah, he wasn't the best.
It was a bad signing. We knew he had a history with his foot, and I think he got hurt right away.
To this point, I agree with Daniel Gary's. I believe Charles Clay has the best stats amongst all of our tight ends, like all time. I think 100%. He's like sits at our leaderboard.
I mean, I have to look at it, but he might. Yeah, I mean that might. We've never been, even since back in the 90s. We haven't had like this awesome tight end set.
2017, like we went through the receivers one last week. Remember, we only had one guy who had more than 400 yards because I think Clay had 700 and something, and McCoy had 600 and something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, listen, Charles Clay wasn't excellent, but a fullback. So he was undersized for a tight end because he was initially a fullback in Miami. Yeah. They made him a tight end the following season, I want to say, in Miami. And then he actually did okay in Miami. Yeah. We gave him the contract. And I thought, listen, up until probably his last season, I thought he was very useful. He was a pretty good tight end. He did his job.
He had a bad knee.
Yeah. I mean, he was around a little bit too at that point, and we used him a lot early on when we first got him. He was great. Point.
He just didn't live up to the contract. That's all.
Yeah, that's
he was a good tight end.
That happened.
He just didn't live up to the contract.
He didn't totally shit out his contract. Like he wasn't the worst we ever did. Like who was the guy that just left our team that you hated? Butler. It wasn't a Vernon Butler or anything.
Wasn't Daryl? Dockery. Remember Dockery?
Right. Oh, was it? What's the other guy's name? That came with Star.
Trent Murphy.
Right? Wasn't it
Trent Murphy?
Oh, good Lord, guys!
You hurt my heart, Tommy. Stop
I know. Well, that was
that's a
guys,
trip down memory lane.
Yeah, it was a trip down memory lane. When we do these, man, I know some of these are like, oh God, but it's good to hear this, guys, because of where we're at today, and this is why we do it, so you guys can just understand how far we've come and how far this team's come. And for everyone that, kind of screams like, oh, we need a superstar, we need the stud at this position, it's very tough to get a complete, to have a complete team full of like all pro, at every
It
position.
won't happen. It won't happen.
Just to get a good player at a position is tough. It really is at every position. And I feel like Dawson Knox, listen, was a guy early on where Bills Mafias were like, dropping a lot of ball, but look where we drafted him. We all knew he was a guy that needed work, right? And he is now showing that. And he could wind up being a very good tight end in this league, which I think he will, because I don't think he's even close yet to where Buffalo sees him getting. And then you got a guy like O.J. Howard, who was drafted way early by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who had was supposed to be a stud tight end. I mean, everybody had him coming out.
If you think about it, he came out, he got hurt right away in his first year,
right?
And then they brought in Gronk over the top of him.
Exactly. So very
he had
tough.
They re-signed Brait, and and he just got pushed down. Like Arians came in, the new regime came in.
Right.
Jason Light came in, and he was draft pick on a previous regime and got shoved down the down the depth chart.
I still think it hasn't been written yet for him. Like I still think he has plenty. Listen, he's a young player. Even if it's not with us moving forward, like Science was, I still think watch out for O.J. Howard. Regardless. Okay, guys, we're getting late, so I'm going to go real quick through the top 10 free agent signings of the McBean era. Okay, this is just the McBean era. This is my list, by the way. Mikey has his own list. It's sort of similar to mine. It gets but yet a couple players that we swapped out. So I'm gonna go with mine first, then Mikey do his. Coming in at number 10 for me is Roger Saffold, number 10, 2022. Obviously this season, though he hasn't hit the ground yet, hasn't played a game for us. The reason why I put him at number 10 is because, listen, guys, this guy is a stud offensive lineman. He's been one of the best in the league for a long time. And it is a big addition compared to what we had, at that position at left guard. So he's a great fill-in. He's only on a 1-year deal. It could be 2. We'll see. But either way, I think he brings in a lot of experience. He can help the rest of the offensive line. They'll look up to him as well. Next to Deion Dawkins. Deion Dawkins will only get better as well, working next to Saffold. That's why I have him at number 10. Number 9. I got Andre Roberts in 2019. I put Andre Roberts on the list because he was a Pro Bowler. I believe both seasons he was with us. He also was an All-Pro one of the seasons. And I think he led the league in return yards in 2020. So he was and we're still looking for that kick returner, punt returner since Andre Roberts left. We're going to be real here. I understood why they didn't bring him back because the money issue and he was slowing down a bit, but he was an excellent signing in 2019. And it's something we needed at that time, kick returner, punt returner. And I always felt safe when Andre Roberts was back there on a punt return. I never thought he was going to fumble or do something stupid. He was a really smart guy when it come to kick return, punt return.
Always made the right decision.
Always made the right decision. Right. Never put the team, in a bad spot. Coming number 8, I got Jordan Phillips, and I put it twice because why? Because we signed him twice, right? He came back. So 2018, and it was a sneaky signing because the Dolphins just cut him, and I think we got him a couple games in. Actually, it was like 4 games in into the 2018 season, and he was electric, man, right away. And I'm like, I didn't expect much. I don't know about you, Mikey, but I didn't expect much when he first came here because I was like, okay, the Dolphins cut him for a reason, though he was, I think, a 2nd-round pick for them or something like that. He brought the energy quick, and I was like, wait a minute, this is something.
I thought he had a chance when he came over. I thought he had a real good chance. I liked him coming out of college. He did have an attitude issue in Miami, and that was the problem. He didn't see eye to eye with the coaches and how he was being used. So I'm like, we'll see how he fits into our culture. But he fit in nice.
Yeah, and he actually had he talked about it in this recent signing. He had a little issue with Frazier and him, and he was cool with it. And him and Frazier said, hey, and they got on the same page. And listen, Phillips led the team in sacks in, I think, 2019.
Yep.
With what he had, 9.5 or 10.5, something like that.
9.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, for a defensive lineman, that's pretty damn good. And like I said, just him being electric. was just awesome to see because we were kind of missing that, I think, on that line at that time. So that was cool. Now, here's where Mikey gets a little upset at me. Coming at number 7, it's Levi Wallace in 2018. I got him here, guys, and I understand when Mikey's list comes on why he's not there. Like, I'm not going to argue over the Levi Wallace thing.
Yeah.
It's not. I think it's just a choice preference thing here. But I don't think I'm far off on it. Is what I'm saying. But I understand Mikey's point as well when Mikey does his list. I have him at 2018 because he was a UDFA, undrafted free agent. And usually, guys, let's be real. UDFAs very rarely do they work out. Very rarely. Look at all the UDFAs we just signed. This draft.
Last year, look at last year too.
Right. Last year, this year. I mean, you won't see them. You don't, or they don't even make the practice squad there. So it's just very rare does a guy work out that even makes the practice squad or stays on it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, not only did he make the team, he started right away. And he stayed. He stayed all the way until 2021. So I got to give him a little credit. Mikey says he's average. I'm going to say he's slightly above average. I was not like a huge Levi fan, but I thought the guy deserved a little bit more credit than Bill's Mafia.
I will tell you, Tommy, he didn't make my list. I think he's a product of the scheme and Hayden Point.
I understand. I understand.
And we'll know this year who was right and who was wrong.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. But the way I look at it too, like I said, everything I already said. And
That's
then
fine.
also too, he must have had the coach's respect enough, even if he fit the scheme or not, to say, hey, we trust in this guy, UDFA, he came in, he worked hard. He deserves to be next trade.
I give him the respect. Like, to do what he did is not easy. He walked on at Alabama.
Yeah.
Then he walked on in Buffalo.
And he had to earn that spot,
yeah,
though, Mike.
And he
earned
spot.
It's not like
yeah,
against other guys that were fighting for his job. So I'm just saying, I get what you're saying, and I was on board, by the way, with we need an extra corner. Like, we need a corner to replace Levi. I was all on board. Matter of fact, you remember I was on board with that the season before. So it wasn't like I was just like Levi Wallace, like, oh, this is the best. Like, but that's why I got him there. Anyways,
we can move on. We don't got to continue talking about Levi Wallace.
I know. I'm just telling you, it's not a big deal. Number six, John Brown, 2019. He was definitely a good signing. He was a signing we needed to have for Josh. That's coming after this 2018 rookie year where we had nobody. Getting John Brown was definitely a blessing for Josh Allen at that time. And I thought John Brown, just too bad that we got him a little bit late in his career, because I felt like his best year was that 2019 season. And 2020, he started to deteriorate a little bit. Like, he started slowing down, injuries started happening. And that sucked to see, because I wish we could have saw a younger John Brown with a Stephon Diggs, a couple more seasons. You get what I'm saying? Like, I felt like they could have done something.
Brown's ability to stretch the field is still something we don't have today.
Correct. Yeah. And he wasn't a bad route runner either, guys.
No.
Like, I remember a lot of people didn't, understand. He just lost a little bit, and it happens. Number 5, I got Isaiah McKenzie ahead of John Brown, 2018. Because why? Because, man, he's been on this team since 2018. He's our longest receiver, on this team since 2018. We picked him up off the practice squad at Denver, and he's done nothing but be a good team player. He's done everything we asked him to do: kick return. He's done gadget plays. He's done quarterback. Like, he's done cornerback. I mean, like, he's done every little thing we asked him to do. Never complain. And I think he's done very well. And I think he wasn't used properly last year by Dable, which used him right in 2020, which was so odd that he would just go away from Isaiah McKenzie. But anyways, I got him in at number 5. Number 4. Mitch Morse, even though I kind of not ragged on him, but even though I was very worried about this signing when we first got him because of the head injuries, the concussions, he got one right away. I remember in camp when we signed him, I'm like, oh, no. And at that time, he was the highest paid center at that time. I don't think he is now. But I was like, oh, my God, are you giving a guy such a high contract? He says this is like history of concussions. But I got to say, listen, beside a couple of the concussions, he's done very good for this Buffalo Bills team. he helped Josh Allen out a lot. I want to say too, you got to have a good center behind you, in front of you there. And he's still on this team for a reason. Mitch Morse,
They
is he
signed
the
him to an
best?
extension for a
Yeah,
reason.
they signed it. Exactly. So is he the best center out there right now? No. But is he a solid center? Hell yeah, he's a solid center. I got to give him credit where credit's due. Just stay healthy. That's all. Just, watch your head. Number 3, Cole Beasley. For sure. Cole Beasley was Cole Beasley was Josh's go-to guy. He was not go-to guy. I'm sorry. He was a security blanket. He was the guy where Josh Allen, if things were breaking down, Cole Beasley was around, right? That was just the truth, right?
He was always open.
Sure-handed. Very rarely did he drop passes. And I trusted Cole Beasley. I did. He was one of the best slots in the game. And he continued every season pretty much. He put up good numbers. I got to give him credit. Listen, it was his time to leave, and I have no bad ill will on Cole Beasley. And that's why he's coming at number 3 on my list. Number 2, Micah Hyde, 100%, 2017. Micah Hyde, one of the best safeties in the league till this day. And man, him and Jordan Poyer just are like, they just connect, man. Like, we couldn't have gotten any luckier with those two. So he's coming at number 2 for sure. He made second team All-Pro this season as well. So it's not like he's getting old and bad. He's losing a step. He's not. Number 1, I got a split. Von Miller, future Hall of Famer. That's why he's making this list, because I know he hasn't stepped on the field yet, but everything he's going to bring to this team, just like I talked about on the number 10 spot, which is Roger Saffield, with that experience, right? Von Miller is going to bring that times 2, because he's won 2 Super Bowls, right? He's a Super Bowl MVP. He knows he's going to help this young edge group out. He's going to help this offensive line out, because they're going to want to go, hey, how do you do this? How do I protect you from doing? So he's just a good guy to have overall. And I think he still has a lot in the tank. I'll be real with these. They signed him for a 6-year deal. He'll probably do 3, but hey, if he can go 4 or 5, I'm cool with it. I'm totally good with it. If you can bring it. Deion Dawkins said, man, this guy is just unbelievable at bending. Like, I don't know how he does it. So, I think he said he's like an Olympian, kind of like how he stretches and how he gets so low and still has that speed burst. So obviously Von Miller just stays in shape, does his thing in the offseason. And that's why I think, I have him split at number 1 with Jordan Poyer, and coming at number 1. And Jordan Poyer is All-Pro, should have been a Pro Bowler, multiple seasons. Just a dog. He deserves a contract extension. And he's our best player. And I don't know why did I put 2019? When did he come? 2019? Is it 2019?
No, he came in 2017.
All right, I apologize. I don't know why I have 2019. 2017. He came in with Micah Hyde. I don't know why I put 19 there. So he came in 2017. Guys, I'll have to edit that. Other than that, man, that's my list. And go ahead, Mike.
I just, listen, there's a fantastic list, and a lot of what you have, I have. As we're talking about it. So number 10, I also had Saffold for a lot of the same reasons you talked about it. Number 9, I had Andre Roberts as well, for a lot of the same reasons you did. Number 8 was a little bit different. I had Darrell Williams at number 8. And I had Darrell Williams at number 8 because you have to remember, he was a former All-Pro right tackle who we got off, late in free agency and came in and beat out Cody Ford right from the get-go. And he put together in 2020 a Pro Bowl, and he even got some All-Pro votes at right tackle. 2021, he came in, and we had Spencer Brown, and we had some troubles on the interior, so we kicked him inside, and he held his own at right guard. So, for the 2 seasons, I put him at number 8. I thought that was a fantastic signing.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I get that. I'm good with that.
Yep. Number 7, I had Phillips as well. You had him at 8. I had him at 7.
Okay.
Because I don't have Levi Wallace on my list.
Right.
Number 6, I also had Brown. Number 5, I also had McKenzie. Number 4, I had Morris. Number 3, I had Beasley. Number 2, I had Von Miller. I put Von Miller at number 2. And then number 1, I have Hyde and Poyer as a combo. I couldn't split them up the way you did, although I understand why you put Miller at number 1. Hyde and Poyer are so good together and has allowed our defense to do so many different things. That's why I put him at number one.
No,
we talked about it
know.
beforehand. It's splitting hairs when you're starting to talk about those three. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? At the end of the day, the Hyde and Poyer combo is just they're the best secondary is safety combo in the league. And I don't even think it's close. And they have been for 5 years.
Yeah. That that 2017 free agent probably was our best. I mean, I got to look back at the free agents that we got. Some weren't so sexy some years, the free agent signings, but that's due to money and stuff. But that 28, man, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, my God, like right there.
Like
right
we
off the
stole
bat.
them. Like Green Bay didn't want Hyde because Hyde was a nickel when we signed him.
Right.
And we moved him back to safety. He was also a punt returner.
Right.
And then Jordan Poyer was just released.
Cleveland injuries.
Yeah.
He had some injuries history.
Yeah.
He had some bad luck injuries with Cleveland.
And nobody really wanted him. And he was a corner as well. And he transitioned to safety in Cleveland. And then they let him go. And McDermott said, "Thank you. I'll take these two guys."
Yeah. And the rest is history.
They fit in his system perfect. They fit in his system perfect.
That
and
whole
they're
team,
and they're like best friends. That's what's crazy about it.
That's why I don't want to lose. That's why I don't want to lose him, man. Like I really hope they get this deal done because he without Poyer, I almost feel like there's no Hyde. Like I know it's weird saying that, right? It's like they go together. Like that's why you got him number one.
Peanut butter and jelly, man. It's peanut butter and jelly.
Like, honestly, man, they're like the best safety duo, right? Like that's I almost like I said, they're
interchangeable.
They're like married. They're like married to the hip, right? Like they're like linked up. They can't.
As you tell, I put them number one as to their combo.
Exactly. Yeah, like I don't blame you. I like your list. I like your list too. I get our list is very close, man.
Yeah.
Guys, I do want to say for next week's show. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start because the whole reason we did the Saga continues today, and we did this whole 2021 recap into the 2022 off season kind of recap. We're gonna start to do positional grading. Right, we're gonna talk about the positions. And we're going to do it on a 3-show. It'll be split up in 3 shows. So go ahead, Mikey. Just tell them how.
So we're going to break it down. Next week's show, we'll cover quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. Show 2 will be tight ends, O-line, and D-line. Show 3 will be linebackers, secondary, and special teams.
Exactly. And then look out for a special trailer in about, we'll say a week or 2, Buffalo fan base and on mine and on the YouTube's channel, a special trailer that is coming out that me and Mikey are going to be doing. It's going to be really cool, guys. So stay tuned for that. I'll tweet it out as well.
It'll be it's a fun topic when they break. So as you know, we're getting ready to go into mandatory mini camps. We're finishing up volunteer. We're going to go into mandatory mini camps in early June, and then they break until training camp. So during that break, as we came up with a really cool idea. Trailer will be coming out soon because it's me, Tommy, and then a couple
really
people
the
from
Buffalo
fan base, right?
Almost the whole family over at Buffalo fan base, guys. So it's going to be over a month. Thing.
It's gonna be like 5 shows long.
It's
gonna be a fun segment.
Yeah, there's a lot of work put in this, so I hope you guys really enjoy it, which I know you will. But yeah, man. So me and Mike are gonna get out of here. Me and Mikey are gonna get out of here. And I just said that twice. Tommy talks.
Yep.
Tommy two talks. Joey, Scotty, I appreciate you coming in. Daniel, appreciate you. We had somebody new earlier that was
Auto Sexy.
Auto Sexy was asking away. I appreciate you, man. I've never seen you here before. He or she, I'm not sure if you're, but either way, I appreciate you coming in. And anyone else that's going to be watching this later.
Corey Herman came in.
We had
a few new people that popped in the chat. We love it. Come join us on Monday nights.
100%.
We try to get to all the questions in the chat at some point throughout the show. And we enjoy talking to Bill's Mafia.
Yep. And you know what time it is, Mikey, right? For the best ending on any show, right? The best ending on a show. Here we go.
And look at him go! He could go all the way! Touchdown! Touchdown! Touchdown!
The Bills make me wanna shout. Kick your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout. Throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, 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 hey. Let's go Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo.
The Bills make me want to shout.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.